Hello, and welcome to another exciting screencast. Today, we're going to talk about stacked views. So I created a little single view project in Xcode, and we're going to talk about how we can use stacked views in the storyboard to do cool stuff. It took me a while to figure this out, so I'm going to show you how I do it, and you can give it a try in your own projects. Just to let you know, I'm using the current version of Xcode 7.3, but I am using the beta of Mac OS Sierra 10.12. So Xcode's acting a little funny. I did download the beta of the latest Xcode, but there's more work to be done there, so I'm not gonna play with that. Anyway, what I want you to do is just create a single view application, call it whatever you want, and when you're ready, let's go through and create some views and use the stacked views, which you can access over here at the bottom, to organize those views so that they work on any shape or resolution iPhone or iPad or iOS device or tvOS device. You can even use them with watchOS as well. Okay, so let's bring in some view controllers. Now, specifically, what I want to do is I'm going to have some buttons, and I want to organize some buttons. So what I want to do is I'm going to put in a button here, and let's not make it the system button. Let's make it a custom button, and then what I want to do is just give it some text. Now I'm going to give it an emoji because I'm kind of crazy. There's a happy emoji. And we're going to make this bigger. So see how wonderful that guy is? And let's say that we want to make a grid of these emoji buttons, and we don't want to have to, control drag here, and set this, and then control drag here and set that, because we want it to be in a matrix of rows and columns, and that can get to be a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is go down here and clear my constraints. All right, so put this guy here, and the first thing I want to do is that emoji looks really small. Look at that. So let's go here and let's make that emoji much bigger. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, look, he's getting bigger and bigger. So I'm going to go, actually, I will type at this point. My trigger finger was getting tired. All right, so that's a nice big emoji, and I want to put him in a square. So right now it's not quite square, so let's make this 120 by 120. Very good. And now our emoji is nicely there. And then I'm going to put a constraint on this fellow. Not here, this place, there we go. Width and height. So that's going to help us when we do our stacked views. So right now, there's no constraints on this button as far as the positioning, but there is on the width and height. And if we want to, we can just, let's pick a really small iPhone and just see how this looks. I always like to compile things. There's a warning there that's telling us that the positioning is ambiguous, and let's just take a look at how this goes. So it's attaching, and there we go. Look, there's our button. You can click on it, nothing happens. Okay, so there's our button, and what we want to do is get a cousin. So I am going to copy and paste this button, and now we have two buttons, and let's paste in another one, and now we have three buttons. Okay, where is that guide? Not finding that guide. Let's put this here, put this here. Now, one thing that I find really helpful is to go into here. I don't know if this is the approved method, but I go into here and I say, okay, I'm going to see how does this look on the smallest iPhone. And notice that I have a button out there. That's not really going to work, right? So I don't even know where that other button went at this point. Then I can go back, click on the view controller, and say, okay, How about a 4-inch iPhone? How about a 4.7-inch iPhone? Oh, there he is. He starts to appear, right? So let's put that there. And then you can follow this all the way up to your full screen iPad Pro, which won't fit. So let's do something like that. There we go. Scroll this down. As you can see, there's a lot of room you have there. So I prefer to start with the smallest, which is right here, and then work my way up. All right, so here is my buttons. Let's paste another one in. Where did he go? Oh, he went outside there. He's all the way outside the view. How do you like that? Let's just drag him into the view here. And put him down here. And you can even shift-click, copy, and paste to, and now we have our nice matrix of buttons. And they're all there. And let's give a different emoji to each button. There we go. Have to hit return to make that happen. The emojis are so beautifully detailed, and you only see them when they're really small. So it's kind of nice to see them really big. I like this angry one. All right. A couple more emojis. Here's a princess. And I like the yellow people because, you know, these people can be anybody. Oh, I like the ghost. And then what should we use for our final emoji? Aha! We will use, crystal ball. There we go. Okay. So, now you can really spend your time trying to line these guys up, and oh my gosh, it just takes forever. So I found an easier way to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first two here. They're kind of lined up already, but I'm going to go into stacked view. So now they're combined in a stacked view. And you can see this because here's your stacked view in this view controller scene outline. And we have our happy face and our choo-choo train. And there they are. All right, and the constraints that they have are just the size. Open that up to, there they are. So everybody has the same size constraint, and they're in the stacked view. So stacked views are pretty cool. They can have an axis, horizontal or vertical, and you can also have the kind of alignment that you want to do, fill, top, center, or bottom. I don't play with any of that. What I do is I play with and I go to equal spacing, and then I figure out, well, how much space do I want to have between them? And, you know, I don't know, let's say 12. So 12 seems to be like a good number. So now they are spaced 12 pixels. Are those pixels, points, whatever those things are, apart? Maybe they need to be spaced a little farther apart. So I make sure I click on my stacked view. Let's make it 24. You know, okay, that feels like it's more pleasing. And I can click on the stacked view so I can kind of see, center it, and it, you know, looks like it could work. So now I'm going to do the same thing for these guys, the angry face and the princess. Hit stacked view. Then I'm going to go into my distribution, equal spacing, and I'm going to go to 24. Perfect. Okay, and now my ghost friend and my crystal ball go into stacked view. It's smart enough to know that it's horizontal, but you could change it to vertical if you wanted to. But we're going to use vertical in a second. So 24. There we go. Look at that. There we go. Oh. Now you got to be careful. You always have to go back up here and select the stacked view, because otherwise you will just default to select the button. All right, so now we have our stacked views, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse all these guys. The height and width of each stacked view is computed from the height and width of each of the views it contains, and since we've put constraints on our buttons, they are going to compute to be a specific height and width based on the buttons, and you can't really change it, see? So in fact, let's click a stacked view. So it's 264, which is the width, which is 120 plus 120 plus 24, and then the height is 120. So that's all computed for you. You couldn't change that if you wanted to. So now let's click on each of the stacked views. I'm shift clicking, and then I'm going to click on the stacked view button again. It's like magic. Boom, there they are all together neatly. And then I want to go back into my info. What do they call this thing anyway? Attributes inspector. So now it's vertical, and I'm going to go to distribution, equal spacing, go to 24. Boom, there you go. So now we have these guys. Let's click on the stacked view and put it nicely centered. And at this point, we're just going to be lazy, and we're going to put this thing right in the center. So let's go over. I always forget to. Do I press on the little bars, or do I press on the? This is like a TIE fighter, and that's like Darth Vader's TIE fighter. So I'm going to click on the bars because I want to constrain it to be in the horizontal vertical center. So now what you can do, and again, this is not the fancy way to do it, but you can click on your view controller icon at the top, and then you can say, okay, well, how's it going to look in a 4-inch, a 5x7-inch, a 5x. This is like, I think the 6 plus or 6S plus size. So you can see it's staying in the center and it's staying nicely aligned there. Look at that. So, okay. So now let's run it. In fact, let me just hit run here, and let's just see how it looks. Wow! Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. In fact, we still want to set up probably some button presses. So what I'm going to do is set up some actions. So I'm going to go to this guy, close this. Oh, look, I'm getting the beach ball. That's wonderful. There we go. Hi, beach ball. All right. So let's move this guy over here. So this is our view controller that's associated with this view. And then I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm going to drag this guy over, and I'm going to create an action. Hello, action. And I'm going to call it button touch. Okay, that's good. Connect it. Now that's just associated with this one button, right? And that I don't want to. I'm lazy. I don't want to create like 6 different actions. So instead, I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm going to go right into this function. And now it's connected to both of them. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Go to the function. Go to the function. Function junction. It's kind of interesting as a iOS software developer. You have to get really good with your dragging and dropping. Okay, so there we go. They're all connected, and we can just prove that. We can put a little print statement in here if we can spell print, and we can say, hey, hello, and we'll put some quotes in there, and bring this over here, and then use the interpolation syntax, and let's put in sender, right? And is there anything about sender we can send? I don't know. Name. Does sender have a name? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Actually, we could put in the sender dot. Is that called a title? Yeah, there we go. Asterisk. Okay. So now let's run that again. We got a warning in there. I wonder what the warning is about. Maybe we'll find out. All right, so if I click on smiley face, and I guess none of these guys have a title, so we're not getting anything. All right, we'll fix that in a second. Let's find out what our warning is. Yes, it will be different at runtime. I don't know why. So what I do is I'm going to hit my stacked view, and I'm going to go to update frames. There, got rid of that. I hate to have little warnings. I always like to clean them up. So what I want to do actually is go back to here, and for each of these guys, I want to set a tag. So where is the tag? So the tag is how I'm going to identify them. So let's call this guy 1. Let's call this guy 2. And angry face here will be 3. Princess will be 4. Ghost friend will be 5. And the all-seeing eye of almond will be 6, right? And just double check that. 5, 6, 3, 4, 2, 1. And then we go into here and we say tag. All right, tag. Hi, tag. All right, let's run again. This should work. Maybe it won't. We'll find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, great. So now you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Like you could come in here and you could create an enum. Enum. And you could say, hey, these will be button IDs. And they're going to be ints. And then we'll do, I forget, you're not supposed to capitalize things. I think this gets capitalized as an enum, but now the cases are not. So this is smile, and we're going to say equals 1, and then we're going to do another case and have choo-choo. So, I guess we've got to do camel case equals 2. I think you can actually just set the first one, and the rest will do that. Angry face is 3. So why am I not just sort of princess? How do you spell that? Okay, there we go. I like to make it kind of explicit so somebody could come along and maybe they don't know a lot about all the shortcuts in Swift, and so they can just see it. There we go, ghost. Spelling is not my thing. I'm sorry. Case, and crystal ball. There we go. Is 6, right? And then we can do like a case statement. So you can do right down here. You can say, interesting. Look how it has that thing there, right? It lost. Like, what's going on there? So let's just build again. Maybe that will fix it. Boom. There we go. So I don't know why the little button indicator stayed up there. That's like a bug. That's interesting. Okay. Switch. Here's our switch. Our value is going to be on sender.tag. I know, I could do like an if the tag existed, which might be a good idea, right? You might want to protect it by doing this. If button ID equals sender.tag, and we got to put a iflet. Sorry, iflet button ID equals sender.tag. Let's close that up, and then we're going to take all this stuff that we just created. It's probably not even worth it to cut and paste it, but I'm doing it. And then we're going to change this to button ID. Okay, so this is a little more protected, because what if we add a button later on that doesn't have a tag, so now it's more protected. Then we're not going to do the default, because what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and do .smile, right? And what we want to do here is call this a button IDs. There we go. Actually, the S probably needs to come out. That's probably better. Okay. So then we'll do print happy, right? You could have it do all kinds of cool stuff. And then need to put the exclamation point, sorry. Then we can just do more cases. I think that's enough. I actually think choo-choo is not spelled that way. I think it's spelled this way. I could be wrong. Maybe there's no official way to spell choo-choo. Is it in the dictionary? Does the dictionary even matter? Do people actually look up words on the dictionary? Or do they just look them up on the internet, in which case it's whatever, hacker thought that should be. All right, so we've got smile, choo-choo. Should probably say choo-choo. Angry should be grr. That looks kind of angry. Ghost should, no, princess should be say, what should a princess say? Oh, maybe princesses say thank you. No, you know what princesses say? They say, I know. And then crystal balls. I'm missing my ghost. How could I miss my ghost? I love my ghost. There we go. And of course, the ghost is going to say boo. And the crystal ball is going to say nothing is clear. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to run this again. Oh, we can't convert the type of int. Okay, to fix this, we have a problem because the enum is a button ID, but what we're getting is an int, which is the sender tag. So what I'm going to do to fix this is I'm going to just cut out sender tag, and I'm going to go to create a button ID, and I'm going to convert it from the raw value. So the int is going to be used. Let's paste that back in. Don't need the asterisk. And so now what's going to happen is this int is going to be converted into a button ID of the right case, and then we should all compile and be super happy. So let us run that, and the build is successful, and everybody is smiling. Well, at least the happy smiling face is smiling, and he is happy, and choo-choo, and grrr, and the princess I know, and boo, and nothing is clear. There we go. Great job, all you buttons, all you enums. And let's just look at this in something else. How about an iPhone 6s? Run it there. It's good to actually run it in the simulators so you can kind of get a feel for what it might look like. It's going to take a second because it's got to reboot the simulator, attach the view, and there we go. And see how it's nicely centered, and I'm going to get the same results by touching each of these guys. So, you know, this is very useful for any time you want to take some text fields. Say you want to create like an entry form. You can use stack views to do that, and you set the dimensions of the objects, whether they're text fields or labels or buttons, and then you put them in the stack view and you set it to the equal spacing. And so there you go. If you have any questions, just leave me some comments, and happy to answer them to the best of my ability, although Stack Overflow is also your friend.